Hello there. Let's take a look at what to expect with the weather in Europe, and it's a pretty messy picture is probably the easiest way to describe it. It's going to be quite unsettled over the next few days. A little bit colder as well in Eastern Europe than we've seen of late. So plenty of cloud on the satellite picture, plenty of showers and a brisk westerly wind across the UK. That's going to extend into Scandinavia and stretching down through Central Europe as well, with some fresh snowfall across the Alps. But generally speaking, down through the eastern Mediterranean, it's fine and quiet. We've still got some showers in Turkey, not looking too bad through Greece and through Italy, and certainly better than it was a week ago across the far southeast of Spain. That said, there is some wet weather that's threatening to push into northern Spain as we go through the week. It's a showery mess through France, up into the Low Countries and into Germany as well. And in fact, if we take a look at Wednesday, it's almost a repeat performance. Now there's that wetter weather just starting to fringe the far north of Portugal and Spain. Showers elsewhere, perhaps not quite as widespread as we move in the middle of the week. Now, looking further ahead, the city forecast shows some rain and turning a little bit milder into London and Paris, dry and settled for Madrid and Rome. As for Eastern Europe, as I say, noticeably colder than the last few weeks, and so temperatures around Moscow around freezing, and there will be some snow at times. Hello there. Let's take a look at what to expect then across North America. And once again, we're talking about unsettled weather pushing in from the Pacific Northwest, affecting British Columbia in particular. I'll come back to that in just a moment. This area of cloud also bringing some snow across the Rockies, and at the same time through the eastern seaboard, a weak weather front just enhancing some rain still across southern Florida as it eases away. But sandwiched in between the two, there is a good deal of dry weather with high pressure in control, albeit on the cold side, with that cold air spilling out of Canada. Now let's move across the west coast, because you can see the rain moving into British Columbia. And what's also interesting is the wind's now coming from a southerly direction, so mild air, and that could lead to snowmelt. So that, coupled with this unsettled weather, could bring some localized flooding. Really, from California further south, it stays largely fine and quiet. So you can see that wet weather into Vancouver, but those temperatures sitting at around 9 degrees Celsius. Let's move over to the east coast now, where things are a little bit quieter. Yes, there is some cloud around, but it's largely fine and dry. Few scattered showers, not really amounting to too much. Nashville, Tennessee should see some sunshine. Then we see a little more cloud into the Carolinas. And there's the tail end of that weather front, just producing some rain into the southern tip of Florida. Doesn't last long though. It's an improving story for Miami over the next few days. Hello there. Let's take a look at the weather forecast for South America. The talking point in the last few days has been the heavy flooding rains that we've seen across eastern Brazil, and on the satellite picture you can see those shower clouds starting to develop. At the moment, they'll become more widespread as we go through the day. Some of that rain really quite extensive. Not looking too bad across southern Brazil and Argentina at the moment. Now further north and west of that, through Venezuela and Colombia, we've got some drier weather. Still some heavier showers through Peru, but the extensive, sharper showers are still likely to be across central and eastern Brazil. Now to the south, it's fine and quiet, and probably wonder what all the fuss is about here. The same too into northern Argentina as well. Now to the southern tip of Chile, we've got some wet and windy weather starting to push in from the west. That's going to continue over the next few days. So as I say, Rio de Janeiro and Buenos Aires, just a few scattered showers, but it stays dry, settled and pretty warm with it, with temperatures into the mid-30s. For Mexico, good deal of dry weather in the forecast. Any showers will be very hit and miss indeed. The same too down into Central America, Costa Rica and Panama perhaps picking up some sharper showers. And for the Caribbean, just a few showers across the west there, potentially affecting Cuba. But generally speaking, it's dry and quiet. And our city forecasts show this quite clearly. There's the showers in Havana, top temperatures of 27 degrees. Hello there. Forecast for the Middle East coming up shortly, but first of all, let's start off with a look at the satellite picture in Africa. And our seasonal rains are being picked up quite clearly on the satellite picture here, these lumpy looking clouds, some intense showers that will become more widespread as we go through the day. So that's going to be affecting parts of Tanzania, across parts of Kenya, also into Uganda, and for parts of Mozambique and Madagascar. But for Madagascar, the rain not quite as heavy as it was a few days ago. To the north of that, it's fine and settled. A good deal of dry weather in the forecast. Now, our city forecast is showing some dry weather into Cape Town, but that rain continues to be fairly relentless through Nairobi over the next week. Now for Khartoum and Casablanca, that dry weather continues. Lots of blue sky, sunshine and warmth, and it looks as though that's going to continue to be the case, as you can see, generally across parts of Egypt and into North Africa. Now it's a little bit cooler than it should be at this time of year. Temperatures just down on the average, but a good deal of dry weather. Localised shamal, just bringing the risk of some lifted dust and some poor visibility over the next few days. A bit more of a breeze as well as we move down through the United Arab Emirates. That's the story on Tuesday. Looking further ahead, little in the way of change. Lots of blue sky, lots of sunshine, and those temperatures recovering just a touch. Hello there. A forecast for Central Asia coming up shortly. Let's start off though with the satellite picture across South Asia. And you can see that there's not that much in the way of a rain-bearing cloud. A few scattered showers likely into Sri Lanka, but further north is where most of the weather action is at the moment, and we're seeing some rain. It's pushing out of Pakistan into the north of India, and some of that could be quite heavy, so warnings remain in force for Monday and Tuesday. That's going to move its way towards Nepal as well. Obviously here we're going to see snow with any elevation. So that's the main story. Into Central Asia, it's all about turning colder, particularly in Kazakhstan. Now temperatures struggling to climb above -5 on Tuesday, but it's going to get colder still. There will be some snow showers here. Further south, a little bit of fair weather cloud, not quite as cold, largely fine with some sunshine. There's that rain then I was pointing out to you earlier, and then you can see through the much of South Asia, it's a dry, settled story. A little bit of fair weather cloud here and there, but it stays pleasant enough with temperatures peaking perhaps into the low 30s in places. So our city forecasts show this quite clearly. Not that much in the way of shower cloud around at all. Dry, settled and sunny. But as I say, it's cold, particularly in Kazakhstan. Temperatures are going to get colder still as we go through the week, easing a touch for the start of the weekend. Hello there. Heat is expected to build across New South Wales and Victoria over the next few days. More details on that in just a moment, but we'll start off with a satellite picture across Malaysia and Indonesia. You can see the shower cloud developing here, but the real talking point is this cloud up into the far north. It's an area of low pressure that's bringing some wet and windy weather across Japan. Now that will sweep its way steadily north and east, leaving a trail of showers behind. Across much of China, it's all about a dominant area of high pressure, bringing decent dry weather here. A few scattered showers across East Vietnam, some of those heavy. And here's our showers across Malaysia and Indonesia, as we saw on the satellite picture. So the city forecast for the next few days shows little in the way of change, really. The best of the sunshine into Bangkok, with temperatures peaking in the low 30s. Now, a north-south divide across Australia at the moment. Northern Territories and Queensland coast picking up some heavy, thundery downpours. That's going to be the story for the next week. Could lead to some flooding. Further south, the heat is going to build again, and we are seeing that in the temperature profile. That means that temperatures are likely to peak once again to 40 degrees. I'll come back to that in just a moment. But for New Zealand, well, it's not too bad here. It's breezy, yes, but a scattering of showers. Temperatures into the mid-20s. So our 5-day city forecast shows that heat building back up to 40 degrees, easing a little as we move into the weekend.